Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Symphogear, the finale of Symphogear AXZ, episode 13. Is everything right with the mic? Should be. Okay. Right, episode 13, the finale, the last episode of the season. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm having a hard time figuring out what's gonna happen. I'm kind of getting the same feeling I did when I watched Shinmai Renkin Jutsushi no Tenpo Kei finale. That one also felt like not a finale, so to speak, or rather, episode 12 of Shinmai Renkin Jutsushi no Tenpo Kei felt like the finale of the series. Big fight with a big boss and all that. And the final episode, episode 12, yeah, because it was a 12 episode series, so 11th episode felt like a finale, and 12th episode was kind of like what's gonna happen. And what happened was a little bit of, not fallout, but a little bit of continuation, right? Everybody lived happily ever after. There was some added minor drama that resulted in the main character growing a little, but ultimately it kind of sort of felt like an OVA. I don't know. It was odd. I liked it, like, don't get me wrong, but it didn't feel like the finale, if you know what I mean, like the climax of the series. And I'm kinda sorta getting the same vibes from Symphogear AXZ, because we did get the finale. In episode 12, we did get the climax, we did get the sacrifice of the alchemists, we did get Hibiki being fixed with the power of friendship and Miku, we got Adam defeated, right? All of those things happened. That was the height of excitement, that was the climax. And now, I don't know, Adam's plan has been smashed, his arm was destroyed, the nuke was also destroyed. Tiki is also destroyed. Hibiki is no longer a deity. What's left there to do, right? And not just what's left there to do, but what's left there to do that we can wrap up reasonably well in the span of a single episode. Because sure, we could. We could show like a brand new villain right now appear out of nowhere. Sure, why not? All that godly power could congeal and create or summon a custodian. Why not? Hibiki might turn into a god again because this godly power is swirling around still. Various things could happen, but none of that is something that could be reasonably well wrapped up in a single episode. Not if we also want to have some afterword, so to speak. Maybe we could throw in some, I don't know, Tiki's remains absorb the power and half of Tiki becomes a god and we have a fight with Tiki. But that would be very self-contained in that single episode. Wouldn't really have the space to develop, to grow, to make people care about it, right? So ultimately, all in all, I don't know what's going to happen. We can't have anything big happen because it's just a single episode. Are we just going to spend the whole episode summing up what happened? Dealing with the fallout, dealing with having essentially an afterword, Hibiki's birthday party, and I don't know, Adam being put in jail, or stuff like that, and then they lived happily ever after. Or are the creators of this show going to use the fact that by the time they were making this show, they already knew they also got a sequel already secured? Are we going to see a cross-season cliffhanger? That's a possibility. Previous seasons of Symphogear had to be very self-contained because they never knew whether or not they're gonna get another season. This time it wasn't a concern, so they might have gone for a cross-season cliffhanger. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe a little bit more about the previous episode. The previous episode I'm very ambivalent towards, and I've read some comments from you guys, mostly on Discord, because not many people left comment on the video by the time I'm recording it. Episode 12 is still not up on YouTube. It's gonna be up today. Yeah, it's scheduling. But yeah, from what I heard, people's feelings towards that season are in general kind of ambivalent. I like this season so far. Don't get me wrong, make no mistake. But the previous episode, in particular, episode 12, felt kind of like a rush job. I'm not gonna lie. They brought back the alchemists only to unceremoniously kill them for using a tool that they only just created and only just established. It all felt kind of pointless, right? We have status quo, we have a spike in status quo, and then we go right back to status quo. Ultimately, we gain nothing, we lose nothing. I guess we did lose Saint-Germain, so a little bit of a dip, a little bit of a change in status quo. But besides that, it wasn't as impactful. All in all, it was impactful in the moment, but not in a grand scheme of things. We got Hibiki, who was saved from being a god, thanks to Miku, thanks to some ass jiggle, and thanks to some kind of ass pull anti-linker that's gonna turn into linker. But how did they know it's gonna turn into linker, and how did they know linker is gonna do what they think it would do, right? Kind of a little bit of an ass pull. And the previous episode was very, very dense with things like that, I feel really could have used some more time to develop, like, across multiple episodes. The previous episode, all in all, kind of felt like a bit like a manga or light novel or something that gets an axe and gets like 2 chapters to wrap things up. And suddenly all those plots get resolved in a super convenient manner with a complete ass pull. Suddenly the main big guy just appears at the school where our main character is, and our main character is able to beat them, and everyone lived happily ever after. Right? All those potential stories get cut short and just compressed and cut. Is that kind of how it felt? Like, oh no, we don't have the time to develop the story of the alchemists. They survived. We have it noted down in our script that they survived, but fuck, we only have 2 episodes left, so we gotta kill them off. Right? That kind of a feeling. I don't know what kind of a feeling I'll get from this episode, from episode 13, from the finale. We'll see. Hopefully it's gonna be a little bit better. Hopefully I will feel a little bit better about it. We'll see. I really like repeating that phrase, don't I? And I can see already in the first frame we have Cagliostro, Saint-Germain, and Prelati. So we're gonna start with a little bit of Last Time in Dragon Ball Z, I presume. And I'm not gonna be presuming, we're just gonna watch it. To do that, of course, you're gonna need your subs, and I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on. And you're gonna need your subs to follow along, of course, almost forgot. And I'm also gonna have to ask you guys for your support. Monetary, Patreon Throne, links in the description below. Or if you don't feel like spending any money, share my content, spread the word. It's completely free, costs you nothing, and helps the channel still. And helps it a lot, actually. So, now, with all of that preparation and introduction out of the way, we can start watching... Yeah, that'll be better. We can start watching episode 13, the finale of Symphogear AXZ in... let me get my finger on the spacebar. In 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, we're starting straight from them vanishing, disappearing into golden mist. her gun falling down. Yeah, that happened. And then the arm was immediately destroyed by Hibiki, thus kind of killing any suspense. Especially with the role Tiki played in it. Yeah. Very slapstick ending to Adam's plans. Yeah, there's the curse. What's that deal? Is he just being facetious? Is he just trying to scare her? Or is there an actual curse that can befall Hibiki? Okay, so the holy power gets scattered again, and is it gonna congeal somewhere again, or is it just gonna remain scattered? Is there a new vessel? I mean, yeah, I'm still not buying it. I'm still not buying that a nuke is stronger than alchemy. I'm still not buying that they couldn't have just turned that nuke into a slab of gold or something. Tiki doesn't give up. I mean, you gotta respect that at least. Anunnaki. Did he just refer to custodians as Anunnaki? Because that changes some context. And of course, Biki being Biki. Anunnaki. That's a word I know. I mean, yeah, that's a good sentiment to have. Oh, and we're going from fighting a god to noise. Kind of a dip in tension, wouldn't you agree? Yeah, that noise poses absolutely no threat to them. That's a cool attack, though. I'll never get tired of Maria's attacks. And their fucking combos. Beyblade, Beyblade, let it rip. Yes, very much so. Six-way unison. Okay. Why do they need X drive? That's a nice song, though. That's a very nice song. I mean, I guess Adam is kind of powerful on his own still. I thought for a moment she's gonna launch her gauntlets like rockets. Oh. Did he ver himself? Kinda, sorta. Oh, he's gonna turn into a monster. Isn't he? Hulk smash! Okay, so there is something left for the finale after all. I was mistaken. Still doesn't quite reach the heights of a deity, but... And the fucking phone is here. I guess a distraction. Or are the custodians calling? It would be an interesting end. And an interesting cross-season cliffhanger if a fucking custodian just descended from heavens and killed Adam with a single shot. Oh. Oh. Well, there it goes. Whomst? Hibiki. Okay, Swan Song. Combined Swan Song. S to CA hexagon version. Okay, sure. I'll take that name for granted. That's her life force. Okay, so they're gonna lose Dine's life powers. Let me hack into the mainframe. Okay, what's gonna happen? Blackness of Dine's life. Okay. Collective transformation in their ignite forms. Oh, that's a cool effect. Oh, that's cool. That's the attack used in, like, Val Verde, I think. And out they fly on Chris's rockets. Okay. I was expecting a second henshin, but apparently not. Sure, you don't always need a second henshin. Sure. I want... Fucking blimp. Chris, I love you. A fucking blimp rocket. Why not? And ignite burned out. What contamination? I still don't know what the deal is with contamination. Wouldn't be the first time Hibiki died. She's not gonna let something like death just keep her. Oh, they're combining their gears. Is this the moment when Hibiki turns into a manifestation of all 6 gears and gets a fucking Gundam or something? Rainbow form Hibiki? She's using Ergetlam. Yep. And no longer yellow, it's a mixture of colors. Oh, it's always nonsense that saves her from defeat. You don't know how Hibiki works. Yep. Next season, probably. Custodians attack. Let's get naked. The power of getting naked. And they're here. Okay. And she's gonna finally summon Gangnir. Is that it? She's finally gonna summon the lance. No! Ow! Well, that's a Valkyrie-looking fucking gear. Right, Chrysopeia, it's turned into solid gold. Gold is a very soft metal, by the by, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from excitement. Ora ora. Death by ora ora. Something more still. Testament. That's a cool name in it. I mean, if the custodians do arrive, they are probably royally fucked. Let's be honest here. But they will defeat the custodians through the power of bullshit, like they always do. Okay, there is still time for things to go tits up. The constant mentions of custodians, perhaps? Oh, no. Why Hibiki was able to be a vessel. Yep. Is Hibiki not human? Is Hibiki like a child of a custodian and a man? Or was she adopted? She was found inside of a crater and just adopted out. Praying to Baphomet, I see. Yeah, go underground, I think you meant, but... Yep. Indeed. Anunnaki, Mesopotamian deities. I think, like, specifically associated with afterlife? No, the fuck it wasn't. And what's your takeaway from it? Ah, of course. We have a brand new villain, don't we? We have a brand new villain. It's gonna be the grandpa. He's gonna try to become a god now. Des. Oh, the background girls are here. Been a while since we've seen them. Oh, Shirabe's work. I thought it was Miku. Yep. Focus on doing that. Feeding each other. You shouldn't put tomato with cucumber because cucumber's enzymes destroy vitamin C in tomatoes. The more you know. But what can you do? Tomato and cucumber really taste good together. Okay, show off. Okay, what's gonna go wrong? We still have 5 more minutes. Enough for the world to start ending. Yep. Most probably. Right. One truth against another. When you're not necessarily fighting a villain. What if you get swayed? What if someone else's justice is just as valid as yours, but opposed? Right? Believe in me that believes in you. That sounds very much like a death flag. Hopefully I'm mistaken. They wouldn't kill Miku, would they? Okay, ending. Nothing went wrong in the end, apparently. I mean, I guess there still might be time for some after credits scene? Maybe. I need to stop licking my lips. It only dries them out even more. Chapstick's much better. So, I was needlessly concerned for what today's episode gonna be about. It actually was a decently good finale. Didn't really have any, like, pacing issues, no real ass pulls. I mean, you could call Hibiki turning gold an ass pull, but it's established within the rules of the universe that it's something that just happens, so I don't even need to suspend my disbelief because it's perfectly in line with the rules of this world. Okay, we gonna see something? Or is it just gonna cut? Okay, after credits. That's me. Cool in her gear now. The mirror purified her from the original sin. I think I mentioned the mirror in the previous episode. Yep. So Hibiki has been purified of the curse of Balal itself. Yeah. No curse of Balal means... Miku! Oh! She's the Joker! Let's give her a relic, shall we? On one hand, it makes Miku able to use a relic. On the other, it also makes her eligible for being a deity. So, could go either way. Interesting. I love the callbacks to previous seasons like that. Oh, that's great. Okay. This after credit scene kind of bumped up my rating of this whole episode, I gotta say. But how about right now we watch this very episode again, shall we? As we always do. And you have no choice in the matter. Because I control the OBS and I switch the scenes. It is I who knocks. Haven't watched Breaking Bad, by the way, but I know most of the memes. Can't even remember the last time. Yeah, that's all well and good. Bit of last time on Dragon Ball Z. Although this is a new scene, the gun falling down and clunking on the ground. Yeah, that was a new moment. And was it? Yeah, I guess it was animated once. Cool. Yeah, we've seen that. He got the arm, got the power, Hibiki punched it because Tiki foiled his plans, and we are where we ended off. Yeah. Question. What happened to all that divine power? Like, all this time, the divine power was there. It seemed to have been seeking out a host, right? It went into Tiki. Tiki was destroyed, so it went into Hibiki. Hibiki shed this power, so it went into Adam's arm. Adam's arm was destroyed, and now it was dispersed? Why? 3 times the charm? I don't know. Hibiki is a suitable vessel, we've already established that. Couldn't the divine power concentrate on Hibiki again? Failing that, there were plenty of relics and things in the area. We know that Tiki is a suitable target, but Tiki's remains weren't chosen. We know that some alchemical constructs like Adam's arm are eligible, so why wasn't, I don't know, Saint-Germain's pistol chosen? Why wasn't, I don't know, Tsubasa's sword chosen? Why wasn't Miku chosen if she was the nearest perfect vessel, for example? But instead, the power just dispersed. Can you be a host to divine power only once in your life? Like, if Tiki became a host once and it got broken, then she can no longer be a host? Can Hibiki no longer be a host to divine power? I don't know. I also don't know if it's actually significant. If it's actually a mechanic that you can't be a host to divine power twice. Or is it just something that happened? That's just how it is. We didn't want Hibiki to attain divinity. We wanted the divine power to disperse, so it just dispersed because it fit as the story. We didn't want to worry about what else is going to become deity, because you could go into a never-ending cycle of destroying divine hosts and the power just finding another, and it would make for a fairly boring show, just walking around crushing rocks that just happened to get some divine power in them, right? So everybody who we needed to get some divine power already got it, and it got solved, so now the divine power just flies away. It stops being relevant to the story right now. Could be that, or it could be significant somehow in the future. That eye's kinda skewed. But it's an in-between, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Hulk smash. The only thing I could use was my fists. I mean, we're kind of circling the same thing for like the past 3 seasons or so, and every season Hibiki learns that, oh, my fists can actually save people, and then she's like, oh no, my fists can only hurt. Oh, my fists can save people. Oh no, my fists can only hurt. Oh, my fists can save people. And now she's at the stage of, oh no, my fists can only hurt. And by the end of this episode, when she talks with Miku, she's again, oh yes, my fists can help people. I don't know, I thought she learned that lesson like twice already, but apparently not. Maybe it's just her character trait. Maybe she's just not entirely convinced still that her fists can be used to help and not just to harm. And she's just, putting on a brave face that, oh, yeah, my fists can help. Totally, you're right, Miku, they absolutely can, but doesn't really believe that. I don't know what the deal is. Or maybe it's just, I don't know, they needed Hibiki to have a vulnerable, powerful moment, so they just kinda regressed her a little. It wouldn't be the first time they regressed character development, would it? The reality you face after shedding so many tears. I'm not sure what they mean by that, to be perfectly honest. I'm not sure of the significance of this title. I could see maybe after shedding so many tears, the reality you face is... Isn't that the subtitle of this season? After shedding so many tears, the reality you face is... ellipsis. I think it is. But yeah, what is that reality Hibiki faces? That her fists can only harm? We've already established like thrice it's not the case. What else is it? I don't know. Did this episode change our perception of reality? Not really. I wouldn't say so. But maybe I'm missing something in this title. If you have like, if you know actual meaning, if there's been, I don't know, some discussions on Reddit or something, and you were there and you know what this title actually means, what's the significance of it, I'd be curious to hear about it in the comments. So leave me a comment. As long as it's not a spoiler for future seasons, of course. Future season, at least, because I know there's one more. Will there be even more? I don't know. There's gonna be a concert soon. Maybe they're gonna announce another season. Maybe they won't. We'll see about that. Regardless, we're detecting no fallout or EMP effects. Nullifying, yeah, they nullified the nuclear weapon by using Lapis Philosophorum. Philosopher's Stone, power of perfect purification, and nullifying the nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapons aren't impure, so I'm not sure what they mean by universal purification or whatever they called it. Unless maybe radiation is considered impure in alchemy or something, I don't know. It's kind of like people say they don't eat chemical things. Ooh, chemicals. How could you eat that while not realizing that fucking everything is chemicals? Fruits have fructose. Fructose is a chemical. There's sucralose. Sucralose is a chemical. Ascorbic acid. That's also a chemical. Plenty of it in apples. You could dissolve an apple into all those scary sounding chemicals, right? It kind of reminds me of that, like chemical or physical rather reaction that causes a nuclear explosion is somehow impure, but charcoal burning in a beaker is pure. Meanwhile, they're more or less the same thing. A physico-chemical reaction. But I'm getting a little bit too hung up on it, I guess. Those alchemists seeking their ideals were the ones to protect the country in the end. Thank you, Saint-Germain. But in exchange, yeah, they used their false robes, they used their very lives to save Japan. I'm very much not a fan of how they went out. I guess the scene with the grandpa makes it a little bit more palatable. Because if not for that, then America launching a nuke would have been purely and solely a device designed to kill off the alchemists. It would have no other reason, because there would be no other effects of that launch other than the alchemists being dead. But the nuke also had the effect of Grandpa being like, what if we could have a god? What if we could, like, I don't know, make my granddaughter a god? What if we could put a god on a leash? Wouldn't you agree it would be more powerful than a nuke? Right? So I guess the nuclear launch at least has a little bit more significance for the story. So, but the death of those alchemists still doesn't sit well with me. I still firmly believe they should be able to find another way to stop that nuke. I have absolutely no doubt. Alchemy is all about controlling matter, controlling things, turning lead into gold and shit like that. If you take out a couple of protons from the nuclear fuel in that warhead, it would turn into not enriched, the opposite of enriched, purified. That's what came to my mind. No, not purified, depleted. depleted. Depleted uranium, and depleted uranium is inert. So you would have a rocket hitting and maybe a bit of an explosion from the solid fuel it uses, but there would be no nuclear explosion. You could do that. As I mentioned in a previous episode, I had a whole spiel about it. Could have redirected it, could have shielded it, could have returned it to sender, could have transmuted it, could have done so many different things. Instead, they decided to commit triple suicide after getting unsuicided, which was another kind of a weird choice. Like, it would be a different thing if Saint-Germain just gave her life because, oh, Prelati isn't here, Cagliostro isn't here, I'm going to save this country and I'm going to join you, be it in heaven or hell, we will meet very soon. And she sacrifices her life, stops the nuke, and that's her redemption. But Prelati and Cagliostro were brought back from the dead, as far as we're concerned, only to just die with Saint-Germain. Yeah, I very much did not like the way they went out. Yeah. I'd much rather they stayed as part of the main cast, as some secondary team for S.O.N.G, maybe helping Elf9 in her research, something like that. If not all of them, then at least Saint-Germain. Don't bring the other two from the dead, keep Saint-Germain, or bring all three of them. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Saint-Germain. I wanted to talk to you more, wanted us to understand each other. There's no understanding, not until we can surpass those who put it in the place, the curse of Balal, the custodians. But he doesn't use the word custodians. In this case, he uses the word Anunnaki. And Anunnaki is a very specific thing. From Mesopotamian, I think, mythology. It's a group of deities. Sumerian. A group of deities of the ancient Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. So perfectly fits with Symphogear world. The earliest Sumerian writings come from post-Akkadian period. They are deities in the pantheon, descendants of An and Ki, the god of the heavens and the goddess of earth, and their primary function was to decree the fates of humanity. Yep, those are the Anunnaki, deities who steer humanity, so to speak. Of course, there's pseudo-archaeology, conspiracy theories, ancient astronauts, all that jazz connected with them. Reptilians are also connected with conspiracy theories. There's plenty of those. Anunnaki were an advanced humanoid extraterrestrial species that hybridized their species and Homo erectus via in vitro fertilization in order to create humans as a slave species of miners. Fits in perfectly with the mythology of Symphogear, doesn't it? Humans created as workers, as slave labor. Anunnaki were forced to temporarily leave Earth's surface as the glaciers melted, causing the Great Flood, which destroyed Anunnaki bases on Earth. These had to be rebuilt, and the Anunnaki taught mankind agriculture so that humans can breed and Anunnaki can come back one day to a populated Earth and exploit humans again. Very much fits custodians. Under my command, I could unite this disorganized colony into a perfect unit. Disorganized colony, does he mean Earth? Is it like Star Trek, where there are other planets populated by humans? Could be. Could very well be. That humans aren't the only slaves that the custodians created. That'd be interesting. Are we gonna end this season? Not this season, this season already ended. Is Symphogear gonna go the trigger way of suddenly aliens? That'd be interesting. But of course, Hibiki says, even so, and everybody agrees. This idiot got it right. We're not perfect, but there's that whole speech. We're always moving step by step. Don't think we'll let you oppress us imperfects from up on high. I thought for a moment that this is gonna be the big battle, and like fighting a god, having that god fill another vessel, fighting another god, having that god fill another vessel, fighting another god, fighting some noise, right? You know what I mean. The excitement isn't quite there when they're just fighting fucking noise grunts that they've been fighting for the past 3-4 seasons, or however many there were. 4, I think. You need some humanity to understand. They aren't wrong. You can't exactly rule humans while not understanding humans. You can't rule them well, maybe let me put it that way. Some cool song, all 6 of them sing it at once. Great attack from Maria, as always. Those individual blades spinning around, forming the tornado. I love Maria's attacks. I love her arm cannon the most, but all of those attacks are great in their own right. Those two creating a Beyblade, that's par for the course. Everybody's a clash of beliefs. It is. It is. Are you saying that the moral choices people make are what leads them to fight? It is. That is exactly what leads people to fight. The moral choices they make. Such a simplistic answer shouldn't hold us back now, but it is the answer. Why do people fight? Because of differing morals. It really is as simple as that. At the very base level, it is because of differing morals. Like, you could argue that, I don't know, a war of conquest isn't because of morals, it's because country A wants the resources of country B. But it is about morals. Because country A's morals are, we want our neighbor's stuff, and we deem it good, or at least necessary. And country B's morals are, we need to defend our stuff. And that leads to a fight. When you have some dude bullying a kid at high school, that's also a clash of morals. The bully has the morals of, I can bully that kid. Why am I saying kid? Like, I have a southern accent. That kid. Because the bully's morals are different from that kid's morals. The kid isn't a bully, the bully is a bully. And thus they fight. Every kind of combat, every kind of fight, every kind of a clash, you can actually bring down two different morals. We wield our determination for the future, for our dreams. Phone gain is rising fast with this 6-way unison. Still nowhere near enough to activate X drive. I'm assuming because there aren't enough people nearby? Probably. Usually when they would activate X drive, it was people all over the world singing, or at least the school singing with them. Then it was Carol who had her own phonic gain, and Hibiki captured it, and thus they were able to launch X drive. This time the area is desolate. They are the only 6 people here. So it's cool. It's interesting. It's interesting that X drive isn't that be-all and end-all bullshit power that they can just trigger at their beck and call. It actually has limitations. We established those limitations only after X amount of seasons. That much is true. But it's good that we do have that limitation established. It kind of recontextualizes previous uses of it as well. Makes them better in the long run. Chain attack. Yeah, I love the versatility of Ergetlam. The many forms of it. Is enough phonic gain. Indeed. and declare that our song will never die. Yeah, and now he's showing his true form, a monster, no longer perfect. In his eyes, at least. When the custodians were creating him, I doubt they were concerned about optics. I thought they just created him as a perfect being without much regard for the visuals. He just shaped his body into his image of a perfect body. Mass is increasing. That form, it's almost like... Could you finish the thought? Because I'm curious. What's it like? And now the true battle is begun. What exactly are you planning? Yeah, he wants to be a god. He wants to stand on the level of custodians to rule humanity. Simple as that. He wants to be essentially a custodian that is put in charge of humanity. I wonder if those designs, if those silhouettes, are we gonna see them actually realized? Because they are decently different. They have different shaped things on their heads and those amogus visors. They're pretty sus. Why is the fucking phone here? Probably to serve as a distraction. Successfully. But... he's a great wingman, isn't he? Here, you guys should hug. Ha 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 ha. Wingmanship successful. It's not over. There's also the gun. How do you plan to use it exactly? I don't know what the plan was. But the plan was, regardless, rendered null and void. Because he crushed the spellcaster or spellflinger or whatever he called it. He's using the false robe's manifestation energy. And yeah, Suicide Song. Gatrandis Babel Zigurat Edenal. Emus tol Rosen Fine el Balal Zizl. Gatrandis Babel Zigurat Edenal, and so on and so forth. Their gears can't take this, they're going to explode. I mean, at least it's their gears that are going to explode and not them, so that's a good thing. This is, I don't know, this is amusing to me. That they can just remotely hack their Symphogear pendants. I thought it's something like localized. That they have the pendant and it's like a piece of a crystal or something. But apparently it has Wi-Fi to connect to their systems. Maybe a GPS and stuff like that. That's great. That's... I would never in my life have thought of it. Usually when you have something that's some MacGuffin that allows the character to use their powers or something, and it's actually connected to some central grid or whatever, that MacGuffin itself is technological in nature. You have Power Rangers morphers, for example, that connect them to the morphing grid, and someone in the base can observe that morphing grid and observe the status of their morphing or whatever, right? But those are fucking Sumerian relics. How do they have Wi-Fi? And they use the time to make some UI for it. To make them hackable. Is the source code on GitHub? I love how absolutely stupid it is. Hacking into ancient Sumerian relics to divert the flow of suicide energy. It's successful though. Because they're able to collectively transcend perfection. And yeah. They're able to collectively transform into their ignite forms Collectively unsheath. Last ignition. That tells me their ignite module is gonna burn out. This is a great effect. I love it. I love the black silhouette with corresponding color cracks on them. That's great. I kinda wish they fought for a moment in this form. Just a black silhouette, like Hibiki when she lost control in first few episodes when she was still the hybrid, and those just glowing cracks on them. That would look so great. Probably a nightmare to animate though, so I can see why they opted not to do that. Instead, they just used Chris's rockets to fly out of the explosion. I still do wish they had some sort of a second henshin, something. We didn't get to see their new X drive, so show us the last ignition form or something. Those are their usual Symphogears. The weapons are a little different, a little more powerful. Are they their usual gears? I think they are. You rebuild your Symphogear at the 11th hour. If they did, you can't really see that well. Some ranged attacks for Kirika. And this fucking thing. Jet-powered Hindenburg. Who needs X drive? Yeah, when you have a rocket this big, who the fuck needs X drive? And at the last moment, contamination. And yeah. I mentioned during previous seasons as well that Symphogear has that structure of highs and lows, the roller coaster, right? Oh, we're at a good place. Oh no, we're losing. We got a new power. Oh no, it's not enough. We got a new power. Oh, it was stripped. Oh, we're winning. Oh, we're losing. Right? And this is that bit of a low. And then it's a big, huge ass fucking spike into the high category, into the high range. Can't get away without an ass shot. Take my power, Hibiki. You have my sword, and my axe, and my bow. You embrace a hope in your arms so powerful. I'm honestly surprised that they didn't end up completely naked. I guess they toned down the nudity in this episode just a little bit. Just ever so slightly. Okay, I still have disk space, so we're fine for that. And yeah, rainbow power. The Ultra Gear. Using Ergetlam and using all the other Symphogears as well. This power is from everyone else, indeed. I wonder, is this reddish tan color that Hibiki now dons instead of her signature yellow actually a mixture of all their other colors? I wonder if that's actually the case. Blue Flash, and all those other attacks. This is her power to connect people. Yeah, it is. She already established it's possible when she was able to connect multiple people's suicide songs and launch them at once. So why wouldn't she be able to use multiple people's Symphogear and use that power, launch it all at once, right? Makes perfect sense in the context of the world. Hibiki's armed gear. And yeah, armor break, armor purge, sorry. Just give me just one more. Rebel against oppression and shout your revolution. Interesting that she doesn't sing that. Instead of Bal we shall ne shall gang. No, how does it go? Bal we shall ne shall gang near Trot. Whatever, I can't sing. She's just screaming it out loud. Also interesting that she's getting support from the ghosts of Christmas past and Christmas present and Christmas future. And thanks to the support of their spirits, she's able to turn her Symphogear into gold. And yeah, she doesn't sing, so there is no whatchamacallit, no energy, no power of song there. Screaming, shouting isn't a song. And yet, she's able to start up this Symphogear, she's able to henshin, and henshin into an even more powerful form, into Golden Hibiki. A foiled version. We already had some golden accents on her gear. In early seasons, they were mostly just yellow. That's a great frame I paused on. But in later seasons, including this one, in some shots at least, they actually took some care to make her knuckles, for example, actually look like shining gold. And this time around, she's entirely golden. The Golden Warrior. Chrysopeia, you're not even an alchemist. I wonder what's the deal with that. Were Prelati, Cagliostro, and Saint-Germain able to manifest their souls from beyond the grave and in the last act of defiance turn her Symphogear into gold? Did Hibiki suddenly get alchemical powers? When they took the blast from Adam crushing Saint-Germain's pistol and blasting them with the alchemical energy, did Hibiki absorb that and make it a part of her, the same way she absorbed Symphogears of her friends? That's worth noting down for future seasons. Maybe it's gonna be handled. Maybe it's gonna be explained. We'll see. Anunnaki. Hibiki absorbed Germain's pistol. Now can use alchemy. At least to a limited degree. Also, Chrysopeia is that like super hard, super powerful, super strong thing. Adam used Chrysopeia as a weapon of mass destruction twice already. Meanwhile, Hibiki just henshined into golden form, just like that. Interesting. Is she not only a powerful gear user, but also a powerful alchemist? Maybe. Who knows? You're not even an alchemist. Correct. She doesn't need to be. She has the power of Ora Ora. That's what matters. And am I still peeking? Is that gonna be better? I think it might be better. Yeah, she has the power of Ora Ora. Enough to lift this Colossus into the sky, and it's animated on ones. To really squeeze in as many punches as they can. Yep, it is. All of it is animated on once. Now, sure, some of the frames are repeating, but still. And final punch. Double punch in the gut. The classic pullback thing, spinning things on the wrists, and a blast of heat. And power that raptures the enemy from the inside. Testament. Hope was crushed today. He really sees himself as the only chance humanity has to survive against custodians. And I wonder just how correct he is. Because so far we had plenty of characters that are like, oh, we need to destroy the curse of Belial, we need to rise up against custodians, right? That's the ultimate goal. We need to free humanity from their yoke. S.O.N.G people are the only ones who have no fucking idea about any of that. At least it would seem so. Or at least they seem completely unconcerned about it. Everybody's talking about custodians, everybody's talking about Curse of Belial. They aren't. I wonder... Is it purely because the enemies so far have refused to communicate on that matter? Refused to talk about custodians, refused to talk about their plans, how to destroy the Curse of Belial? And so the S.O.N.G people genuinely have no clue that it's an issue? I don't know, I guess we might see it in the next season? Because when are the custodians gonna appear if not the next season, right? Nice catch. I wonder, are those swimsuits part of their Symphogear? That's also interesting. When Hibiki dehenshined, she turned back into her schoolwear. When the others unhenshined, they got those like Zettai Ryoki elbow gloves swimsuits. Is it a part of Symphogear, or do they just dress into this combat gear and then they henshin if they know that they're gonna go into battle? What effect does it have on them? Does it have any benefit over wearing a coat or something? I don't know, more questions. Is that it for Adam and the whole Bavarian Illuminati? Probably. It's still not it for the custodians and stuff, though. That's still gonna be an issue. In 3 days. Yeah, only an immaculate soul can serve as a vessel for the divine power. How could a human born... Yeah. The mirror is the answer. We risk having the remnants go to underground, I think they intended to say here, making them even harder to track. It is a concern. While all those people are out in the open and they feel they are still untouchable, they are out in the open. You can find them easily, you can eliminate them easily, they have their own temples and shit. Once you start hunting them down, they go underground and they become much more careful, and there's fewer of them. You won't find a big, huge congregation in someone's mansion in LA. You will find them in caves in southeastern Kazakhstan, right? And then there's this fucker. We can't really take any strong countermeasures of our own. We have witnessed a power that only gods could bring to bear. We would no longer... Yeah. And do you not think it would benefit our nation to have such power? We would no longer fear invasion of our lands or the loss of our own to further supernatural disasters. That's how you bring a disaster. That's how you invite a disaster. Trying to control a power you don't understand, trying to control a power that you have no hope of controlling, that leads to a disaster. Every single piece of, well, not every single, but every single piece of media that deals with it will tell you that it's a bad fucking idea to try to put a leash on a god, to try to create artificial gods, to try to create sentient robots, to try to create artificial creatures that are much stronger than you are. Because they will rebel. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. If you're creating something stronger than yourself, by definition, you cannot control it. I don't know what to think of Tsubasa's grandfather. He's been an asshole all this time, but now I really think he starts suffering dementia. Because he has some absolute fucking ass takes every time he appears on screen. Like, genuinely. Next time we see him appear on screen, he's gonna have the great idea to turn the entirety of Japan into a spaceship. Or to unfreeze some ancient virus in the Arctic, because we could research it. Or to fucking make the deal with the devil because he promised Japan prosperity. He's this kind of a person. I was only half-jokingly saying that he should be put in a home, but no, the whole fucking country would benefit from him being removed from any sort of position of power. Whatever calamity is brought upon this world in the next season is gonna be brought upon by him. I have little doubt, actually. Fuck, I'm running out of space. Tsubasa's grandpa brings calamity. And I'm gonna have to put it in its own little box. Here we go. Happy birthday. All this time I was wondering, when are things going to go tits up? All this time. And it seems like it's a tomato feast. There is tomatoes with some cottage cheese inside. Tomato and cucumber. There are cucumber sticks, surimi maybe, or carrots, and white thing daikon maybe, with some hummus perhaps. There is tiny little sandwiches. Seems to be rye bread with egg paste and white bread with tomato and cucumber. We have some pasta with olives, ricotta on top perhaps, and tomatoes or chilies. A plate of tomatoes and cucumbers, tempura shrimps, vegetable skewers, I think, cucumber, onion, tomato perhaps, zucchini, and carrot or surimi again. A pizza served in a kind of an odd way, but a pizza nonetheless, or some sort of a... No, it's not a tart, it's a pizza. Very white though. Probably just, I know, cream sauce and cheese, maybe garlic bread. Some, whatchamacallit, horse de veur, or whatever you pronounce it, however you pronounce it. Green olives, salami of some sort probably, and aubergine, maybe. And more stuffed tomatoes. Oh, there's some celery in those cups of hummus or whatever it is. And more pasta, spaghetti with aubergines, bacon, and tomato sauce. That's a nice menu. And she made it all herself. I honestly expected Miku to have done at least half of it, but no, it was Shirabai on her own. Interesting. And those three are just out there in the background. They don't even get a speaking role. Kind of a shame. I kinda long for the days when Symphogear had the balance of world-ending calamities and school life, right? When they would be going to school and, oh no, noise, we have to fight, right? It kinda gave us that, those personal stakes. Right now, it's only impersonal stakes. It's only big stakes. If I don't fight, the world will end. In the early episodes, it was, if I don't fight, my friends who are right next to me will die. I will witness them being vaporized into charcoal dust. Kinda paradoxically raises the stakes a little. As they say, the death of one person is a tragedy, the death of 10,000 is a statistic kind of way. When a whole block of flats, when a whole section of a city gets vaporized because a god just attacked it, it's the block that got vaporized, the section of the city, not exactly its people. When it's a friend that's right next to you that's in danger, it's very personal. And I'm kind of missing that factor in recent seasons. Very good tomatoes. No fighting, eat a tomato. That's a cute scene between those two. Yeah, I thought it's animated and I'm gonna be able to see if Chris is still a slob or not. She probably is. Let's be honest. What kind of a game are they playing? Connect 4? Must be, because there are 3 in a row and they haven't disappeared. So must be Connect 4. This guy is doing better. Great to see. The absolute show-off that she is. I love it. And a little tender moment between Hibiki and Miku. I really have expected something to go tits up right about now. Like, suddenly a custodian is descending from heavens. Oh, are you the human who destroyed my perfect creation, Adam? Right? That kind of a deal. Or some explosion in the distance or something. But no, it's just a nice tender moment between the two of them. Yeah, I'm... Right. The whole dilemma that we went through already like 3 times. If some bad guy somewhere is causing people trouble, I'm sure I'd be able to stop them with my fists. But when my opponent is fighting for their own sense of justice with clenched fists, it's not so easy to resolve. Indeed. Indeed. It makes Hibiki waver. I have my own beliefs, but the person I'm fighting also has their own beliefs. And I want to save the world, and they want to save the world. In opposing ways, in different ways, but ultimately the goal is the same, so why are we fighting? Do we really have to fight? It does make her waver. Early on it was easy, it was noise, something impersonal, creatures, not even artificial beings, you can smash them to your heart's content and it's gonna be fine. Then it was Ver. It was the whole organization of people who ultimately wanted to save the world, but Ver had a nefarious purpose behind it. So it didn't feel bad defeating Ver, because ultimately he was a villain. Only under the guise of trying to save the world, he wanted to become a hero. All the entirety of the world be damned. So it also made it fairly easy to fight him. Not so much the rest of them, not so much Kirika, Shirabe, and Maria, but Ver was an easy opponent. Then it was Carol, who also was a tough opponent in that she didn't want to listen, and she didn't want to talk, and she didn't want to communicate. So now, is she a villain or is she not? We can't know that. And so Hibiki can't make up her mind. Besides that, Hibiki sees that Carol is troubled, ultimately. Is she really a villain, or is she just misguided? Right? We're stepping up the complexity even more. And now the villains, the antagonists, were the alchemists, who also wanted to save the world, who also wanted to help, whose goals were aligned, but they went about it the opposite way from what Hibiki believes in. So that was hard. That was harsh. Adam, Not so much, because he admitted himself that he just wants to rule, so he's in the same boat as Ver, kinda sorta, in that he is a villain through and through, and he can't even justify his villainy by wanting to better the world. But the alchemists, they wanted the same thing Hibiki does. They wanted peace, they wanted prosperity, they wanted the world to be safe. Just went about it a different way. I have no idea about any of that. But you know what? Even if you can no longer believe in yourself, I will never let go of your hand. I will believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself, I will believe in you. Believe in me that believes in you. Fitting, seeing how Hibiki used her drill arm recently. Well, if you say so. We're playing cards. And a dramatic final shot. Not quite final, because we also get an after credits scene. Yeah. Figuring out Shen Shojing. What happened with Hibiki. She was purified by the mirror, not just from the relic taking her over, but also from the original sin. Things are getting interesting. Because Curse of Balal prevents people from communicating. Now, nothing supernatural prevents Hibiki from communicating. Sure, she's prevented from communicating with French people in that she doesn't know French, and French people don't know Japanese, right? But on the, like, metaphysical level, nothing's blocking her from communicating. Maybe that's why she was able to use alchemy. She's not bound by any barriers like they're alchemists and they're using alchemy, we're Symphogear users and we're using Symphogear technology. We're all people. I can communicate with everybody. I can take some Symphogear, I can take some alchemy, I can take some divine power. Maybe that's also a factor. But of course, she was also rid of original sin. So she's a perfectly pure being that's susceptible to becoming a god, even. And that's another thing. Hibiki wasn't the only one. Also, right, she was able to move from being a hybrid to a fully fledged Symphogear user. To be a Symphogear user, you have to have a high sync rate. Did Hibiki have a high sync rate? We don't know that. Maybe, maybe not. She was never scouted to be a Symphogear user despite being enrolled at the academy, so probably not. But she became a hybrid, thanks to the shard of Gungnir inside of her. And that's what gave her her Symphogear powers, not necessarily sync rate. But, thanks to the Purge, her sync rate was sufficient to allow her to use Gungnir even without it being part of her body. It also has another interesting implication in that perhaps sync rate is inversely proportional to how strong the Curse of Balal is on you. People who have high sync rate somehow are less affected by the Curse of Balal as well. I'm gonna note it down, I don't know where. Okay, Novice Alchemist. That show's concluded, so I'm gonna take up this bit of page. Symphogear AXZ continued. Fuck. Symphogear AXZ continued. What was it? Sync rate inversely proportional to the strength of Balal curse. I wonder if that's gonna be relevant. And yeah, she wasn't the only one. There's also Miku. Is Miku's sync rate now through the roof? I wonder. Also, she pulled a Joker. Joker, right? The unknown card that can be useful or can be not useful. And my thing from... I'm gonna have to order a new one on AliExpress. She's the Joker. She's their trump card. Also, interesting that she pulled out an 8. I would have expected a 7. 6 Symphogear users and Miku being the 7th one. But she pulled an 8. Does it imply there already is a 7th? Probably not. Maybe they just missed that opportunity for symbolism. And yeah, probably. Probably the Joker alone is symbolism enough. You don't need to ham-fist it completely with Miku having a 7 in her hand. There was one other. Also, please tell me that this bit is a GIF. Come on. Frame by frame. Frame by frame. I know you don't like going frame by frame backwards, but bear with me, player. And she jumped 3 times, I think. Tell me this is a GIF. If it is, post it on the Discord. I'm gonna make it into an animated sticker or something, or an emoji, or whatever. To be continued. Dun dun dun. And that's it. That's the finale. Huh. Okay. Okay. There we go. That was the finale of Symphogear AXZ. So, now, it is time. It is time to check what I was correct about and what I was incorrect about. And there is a metric fuck ton of theories I had to go through. Those are just keywords. Val Verde, Hell Screen, Bavarian Illuminati, Saint-Germain, Prelati, Cagliostro. Meeting Sonia. Meeting Sonia. We did meet Sonia, right? We did. Stefan is Sonia's son. He's not. He's her brother. Person frozen in crystal is a custodian. No, that was Tiki. She's an autoscorer. Frozen girl is a human controlled by a gear. Nope. Fighting god on a galactic scale. Not yet. But no. No, we haven't. Alchemists 3 fight for humanity against the custodians to give humans control after making their own history. Alchemists 3 fight for humanity against the custodians. Yes. To give humans control over making their own history. We didn't get that explicitly stated as a reason, so I'm gonna use yellow. Alchemist 3 joins forces with S.O.N.G. Kinda, sorta, at the last moment. Does it count if they joined forces for like a minute? I guess it does. Alchemist Trio versus Adam because of differences. Kinda, yeah. Saint-Germain did go against Adam. Cagliostro whipped up the whole plan of pretending to be dead, so sure. The Kazanaris are descendants of Adam because of the eyebrows. No, Adam is an artificial construct. So of course not. Ignite curse semantics. Swordbreaker. What the fuck did I mean by that? That there was a mention of something being a swordbreaker and Dine's life being a sword, but nothing of that became relevant. At least I can't recall, so that also gets orange. Igalima, ultimate weapon against deities, not quite. It wasn't Igalima. Making a deity corporeal to enslave it and use its powers. Kinda, sorta. I'm gonna use yellow. Because sure, Adam wanted to turn Tiki into a god, make the power of gods corporeal to use it for his own goals. Hibiki can somehow cancel alchemy. Snake God, Hydra crumbling, Germain's bullets. Cancel alchemy, not really. She can cancel god power. Snake God wasn't made with purely alchemy. It was a god or some sort of a demigod. So that gets a green. Hydra crumbling. It probably also had some divine element inside of it. Germain's bullets, probably not. Germain's bullets were stowed by Hibiki just because it's Hibiki. Next, alchemists want ruins to dispel the curse. We don't know what they wanted the lunar ruins for in the end. So, no, they don't want ruins, but they want to dispel the curse. Adam wants to use them himself. He doesn't want to use ruins. He wanted to use the Orion belt. Or Orion. Message of the season: if we join in unity, there's nothing we cannot do. Kinda, sorta. I noted it down because maybe if we join in unity, as in Symphogear users and alchemists, and everybody joins forces, we can do everything. But ultimately, we didn't join forces with the alchemists, so I wouldn't say that's the message. On the other hand, in the end, Hibiki literally got all the power of everybody, so there is some joining forces, so I'm just gonna use yellow because kinda, sorta. Saint-Germain redemption through sacrifice. Yes. Saint-Germain, the 7th Power Ranger. No. Hibiki absorbed Germain's pistol, now can use alchemy. Tsubasa's grandpa brings calamity, and sync rate inversely proportional to the strength of Balal curse. Those are things for the next season. Right now, that's how well I did in my predictions. Not too bad, not too great. How did previous seasons of Symphogear go, rather? Where do I have previous seasons? Here's GX. A lot of... Oh, we can actually go back a little. Maybe something was resolved from previous seasons. Hibiki uses family's magic words in her hour of need. Like in last moment, her father taught her some magic words, quote unquote. But no, it seems her magic words right now were Datoshitemo. So I'm gonna leave it unmarked. The universal power both alchemy and song stems from becomes relevant somehow. Not yet. Ver becomes a cockroach, he'll be back. He wasn't, not yet. And we have others. Do we? That's Virgin Road. Tokyo 24 Ku. Symphogear G. School gets destroyed, Chris gets pissed. Hasn't been. Triple Suicide Song Waves awakened Fina in Kirika. No, probably not. We don't have a full confirmation, so I'm gonna leave it unmarked. Fine can control Kirika if push comes to shove. Second personality, not Kirika, Shirabe, because we know that Shirabe got Fine. No, Kirika got it. We'll see one of the girls, random girls that appeared before again. No, we didn't. And the first Symphogear. Miku is gonna become Valkyrie forcibly to save Hibiki. That's yet to come. Chris joins thanks to Miku. Ryoko rejects Fine due to the pressure from the gang and becomes good. Kinda sorta. Ryoko wants Hibiki in exchange for Miku. Artificial gear and artifacts weaker than real ones. Lulu Amel equals humans. Mom turns into a monster. The 6 of them have to fight it. Okay. That about does it, I think. That about does it. Where do I put it? Here. Sure. Now. Now about the finale and the season as a whole. What can I say? It was a good episode. For sure. I did very much enjoy myself. Yeah, I was afraid, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna top what was shown in episode 12? Yeah, in episode 12. But they kinda did. They did manage to give us a proper finale. Despite it kind of feeling at times like the not the importance, but the stakes kind of went down, right? From potentially fighting a god to fighting just regular boring noise. They did good to keep the stakes up. They did actually make Adam powerful. So that's good. That's good, but I do still have that nagging feeling that the power scaling is kind of fucky-wacky. Although I guess they never actually fought like a... No, the fuck they did. They did fight an actual fully realized and fully conscious god that was rampaging around. And they won. And they couldn't beat Adam? So why did Adam need divine power if he's more powerful? Yeah, I'm just gonna disregard that. In vacuum, Adam did make for a good threat. He did make for a good villain. Yeah, it was cool. The fights were cool. The transformation, the first transformation of using ignites to like all of them ignite at once, and this cracking appearance, that was the highlight probably. And then of course Rainbow Hibiki and Golden Hibiki, that gives us some potential threats for the future. What was that golden form? Chrysopia, right? How was Hibiki able to just randomly use alchemy on her Symphogear? Two sides of the same coin, and Hibiki was able to unite them. That's interesting. How did she get alchemical powers? Is it the power from Saint-Germain's pistol? Is it Saint-Germain's soul that now resides within Hibiki? Or what's the deal there? We don't know that. Are Saint-Germain and the gang gonna be back? Maybe they have backup bodies. Who knows? I wouldn't put it past this show to do that. They brought them back from the dead once. Might as well do it again. Probably not, though. What else? Was there anything that I felt was bad about this episode? Let's see. Not really. Besides some minor gripes with power scaling. Not really. And I can't even say that it's a negative, because it's only a negative when I think about it, right? When I think about just placing some random noise and that's supposed to be the finale, right? When I think about Hibiki and the gang managing to defeat a god but now having trouble against Adam. Although I guess you could argue it makes sense, because Hibiki is a god slayer, essentially. So her fighting a god is easy. Adam isn't a god, so now Hibiki cannot rely on her god slaying properties. She can only rely on her actual power. I guess it does make kinda sorta sense. But yeah, I can't really think of that as negatives because as I was watching it, it didn't really register as something bad. It didn't really register as something that shouldn't be there. I did enjoy myself thoroughly. It certainly was a much better episode than episode 12. And yeah, it really gave us a proper, appropriate, good, fulfilling finale. I have no major qualms about it. Uh, all of the issues that I might have are with the previous episode, not with this one. What else can I say about it? I think it's the first one. Yeah, it is. It is the first time we actually set some threads for the future. We set the thread that Tsubasa's grandpa can pose by trying to control divinity. We set the threat of custodians returning. We set the, maybe not threat, but a thread with a D of Miku becoming the 7th Ranger and getting her own Symphogear. What relic would she use though? Do they have some relics in store? Shinshojin was destroyed. Dine's life has become part of their other relics. Do we have something? Or is the first few episodes of the next season going to be about discovering a brand new relic that just so happens to be perfect for Miku? I could see it going that way. It's an interesting season, for sure. Interesting in that I'll be perfectly honest with you. I remember the general gist of it, but I don't remember much of the specifics. And it's kind of odd, because ultimately it was a very important season, and I remember even the earliest moments of fighting the snake, of being in Val Verde. Then there's the Hydra, but it kind of feels like there was a lot of filler, despite there not being any actual filler. I don't know. I can't quite dress it into words. I don't mind it. I don't feel like this season was particularly egregiously bad. It wasn't bad whatsoever, in fact. But I do get the feeling that there were some episodes that were just something. Just a fight, for example, that didn't really move the plot any. Maybe not any, but didn't really move it particularly far. It was just an episode of a fight and maybe a tidbit of lore and not much besides that. I would have to rewatch the whole thing in like a single sitting to be able to actually formulate my feelings, I guess. I did enjoy this season. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy myself. But I do have the feeling that they could have paced it a little bit differently. They could have shifted it a little bit around. Like maybe we don't need a fight to be quite this long. Maybe we could use that time to develop, I don't know, Saint-Germain a little bit more. Maybe we don't need the time. Maybe we don't need to spend the time to do some, I don't know, some fluff somewhere. Although I don't feel like there was particularly much fluff either. But instead we could establish a little bit earlier that Cagliostro is suspicious of Adam and she's cooking some plan. So her and Prelati being alive has at least some like support in hindsight. They could have shifted some things around. And yeah, I did mention that there was some fluff, but I don't think there was, unless you treat fight as a fluff. There were plenty of episodes that were just a fight and then a little bit of story. There wasn't much fluff, and that's, I guess, another downside I would say about this season, that it's not quite grounded well. Previous seasons were more grounded in that school life, in Hibiki's friends, right? All of that being a threat to her friends, Ver attacking them, Noise appearing and Hibiki having to protect her friends, stuff like that. In this season, the background trio didn't even get any speaking roles at the end. So it was all big and lofty, larger than life goals, but there wasn't that personal stakes in it. We didn't even see much of Miku. We didn't even see much of their school life. Miku appeared pretty much only when when she had to give some speech to Hibiki, and that was her entire role, mostly. I'm missing the moments of like fucking making beef stroganoff, going to school together. Don't get me wrong, the Symphogear we have now, it's still good, right? There is still stakes, pretty fucking big stakes. The whole world, the whole of humanity is at stake now. But the grounding is kinda missing. It's not necessarily worse, it's different. It's no longer that much of a very personal story, of a personal struggle, of trying to help friends, but rather it's that kind of all too common story of fighting God to save humanity. Kind of loses a little bit of originality. Not much, don't get me wrong, Symphogear is still one of the most original and imaginative series I've ever seen. But comparing it to first couple seasons, this feels a little bit more aligned to the mainstream, so to speak. Just a little bit more. Not like it's not like fully entering mainstream. Make no mistake, absolutely not. But it's kind of aligning, kind of finding its course. I feel like the first few seasons were much more experimental, kind of, sorta. Although, in this season, we have some pretty fucking experimental stuff. All those merges and connections and fucking feed docking. I will never, until the day I die, forget about feed docking. I'm gonna write it in my will that every member of my family who wants a piece of my meager wealth will have to see the scene of feed docking so that it remains in perpetuity throughout generations. Yeah, I I can't really say anything bad about this season. That's the problem, because I enjoyed myself. I liked it. Uh, at times, it was just dumb, stupid fun where you turn off your brain and just enjoy the show. But I can't fault it for it. It's a weird feeling. I want to say some bad things about it, but ultimately, do they matter? Do they matter all that much? I came to the conclusion that Symphogear isn't that, height of rich cinema, but it's not a slot taker in a season either. It's in that middle ground. It has some riveting stories and world building and characters, absolutely, but it's also corny and cheesy, and there happen some plot holes here and there, and sometimes someone gets a wonky face, and sometimes things don't make sense. But that's what makes Symphogear Symphogear. It would have been a different story if I was watching Madoka Magica and then suddenly there was an episode of them fooling around in an arcade or something. Completely different story, but it's Symphogear, so it fits. Hibiki getting rainbow powers and then getting powers of gold. I don't know where they came from. I mean, I know where the rainbow powers came from. I don't know where the golden power came from. But do I care? No. It's a spectacle. It's cool shit I'm watching. I don't need to look that deep into it to enjoy it. Like my job, well, not quite my job is being a teacher, but my job on this channel is like analyzing that stuff, figuring out theories and stuff. So I do have to watch this show with my brain turned on, but I don't need that brain to be turned on to enjoy it, if that makes any sense. And I think that sums up Symphogear as a whole pretty well. If you want to watch it with your brain turned on and engaged, and you want to catch all those references to Sumerian mythology and all those significant names and all those nods and things like that, you absolutely can sit there taking notes and scrolling through, pausing, going back and rewatching moments and making theories and blog posts and shit like that and writing wikis. You can. And if you just want to come back from work, sit down with a beer or a tea, lounge on the sofa, and just watch something entertaining, you can. It's a versatile show, isn't it? It fits every crowd. Both the crowd that believes anime should be high cinema, on the level of like fucking The Godfather or whatever, and it fits the crowd that just wants to watch flashy colors and laugh. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I think that's gonna be it. I'm looking forward towards the next season, for sure. I don't know if it's better, if it's worse. Who's to say? I'm gonna form my own opinion, of course, as always. I'm curious about the new venues they unfolded, the new threads with Tsubasa's grandpa, with Miku potentially getting a henshin, with all that stuff. I'm very much looking forward to that. But of course, before we watch that, before we start the next season, there's also gonna be the OVAs. We're gonna watch them next. And there's also gonna be the concert, of course. Hopefully my light sticks arrive, but they're coming here from China, so they probably won't, and I'm probably gonna have to whip something up with like LED strips and I don't know, power banks or something. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Or not. We'll see about that as well. I enjoyed my time with this season. I enjoyed my time with this episode for sure. Easily, this episode was the highlight of the season, I think. Yeah, I think it was, if not the highlight, then one of the highlights. Episode 11 was super memorable. This episode was also super memorable. Episode 12, less so, but they kinda used episode 12 to wrap up all the loose ends that they didn't want to wrap up in the finale. Kind of like a quick cleanup for the stage that is the finale. That's what episode 12 kind of felt like, right? Setting new scenography, sweeping the stage, putting on some new props, and then episode 13, the finale. I did enjoy myself with this season, with this episode, for sure. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm looking forward to the OVAs. Hopefully we will see more of the alchemists in it. For sure we will see more of them. I hope we will. We'll see. We'll see when the time comes. But you guys, you tell me, what did you think of this episode? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Did you like it? Did you not? I guess those are the same things compared to the previous episode. Is it episode and episodes? Is it a good finale to the season? Is it a bad finale to the season? Tell me your opinions down in the comments, of course, as always. Also, what did you think of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? As long as it's not a spoiler for the next season, please, no spoilers. You can tell me anything in the comments. If you do want to talk spoilers, you of course can on the Discord. Link is here, also in the description. Join it, there's a Symphogear channel where you can use spoiler tags to talk about spoilers. Many people already do. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of more Symphogear, of Gundam Witch from Mercury, although by the time you're watching it on YouTube, the finale of Gundam will already be out, but I'm going to be watching the next part, so stay tuned for that. Also, other shows I'm gonna start watching. I don't quite know yet what are the shows going to be, but there are gonna be more shows that I'm gonna watch, so stay tuned for that. Majirevo, almost certainly, so might wanna tune in for that. And I also stream sometimes, so click the bell to be notified when I go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon Throne. If you want. If you don't want to support me monetarily, you can support the channel for free. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps the channel. On Patreon, though, for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits, and I sometimes release some seasonal stuff a little bit early on that channel, on that tier as well. On Throne you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of better gear, better software, stuff like that. And yeah, if you don't want to spend any money, sure, spread the word, you know what to do. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about this season, about this episode, but we've already passed 2 hours, and I don't think I have much more to say. So, that's gonna be it from me for today. And as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers. And this is the list of my wonderful patrons, and you can be one of them if only you so desire. You don't need to attain divinity to achieve that.